it. All right. Welcome in the Bounty Hunters, where we do TV show reviews or movie reviews, but a lot of the time we do deep dives into famous or sometimes not so famous Star Wars characters. And who are we doing tonight, Canadian?
We are doing the latter. It is Gar Saxon, the Mandalorian warrior.
Gar Saxon. All right. So before before we go, we did a little opening part. I just want to say that we do this on Twitch 7:30s on Thursday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern time. But they will always be uploaded on usually the next day, Friday, by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I usually have it up and going, so you can always watch them on YouTube, or if you want to participate in the live chat, you can come watch us on Twitch and tell us how dumb we are that we know nothing about Star Wars, because that's what makes it fun.
When we choose a character that has basically 10 appearances, including comics.
All right, let's kick it off. Let's go.
Gar Saxon, hailing from Clan Saxon and a former member of Death Watch, initially served under Pre Vizsla. However, when Maul defeated Vizsla in duel for control of Mandalore, Saxon broke ranks with many in Death Watch, choosing to pledge his allegiance to the new leader, Maul. Later, when Maul was captured by Darth Sidious, it was Gar Saxon who was assigned the critical task of successfully liberating Maul from imprisonment. As time passed, Saxon and the Super Commandos regrouped in Sundari, the capital city of Mandalore. In the waning days of the Clone Wars, a collaborative effort emerged between the Mandalorian Resistance and the Galactic Republic, resulting in a joint invasion of Mandalore. The Republic force succeeded in their mission, capturing both Maul and Saxon. Following the conclusion of the Clone Wars, Mandalore fell under Imperial occupation, and Gar Saxon was appointed as the Viceroy to enforce Imperial rule on the planet. He continued to serve the Empire until a pivotal moment when Sabine Wren arrived with a Darksaber, marking a turning point in Mandalore history.
There you go. There is a rundown. That was actually one of the only characters I've ever had that I didn't have to stress out about getting her into a minute. It fit pretty easily under a minute, and it was just because I can get her in a minute, and then when Sabine Wren shows up, that's kind of almost like a whole nother part of his story that I didn't think it was necessary at the time. So, but usually I'm having to cut and go, oh my gosh, how am I going to fit all this in? So we are talking about Gar Saxon. Man, he looks like he would be that chiseled chin guy that you'd want, the rogue, scoundrel, bad guy kind of thing. And I honestly believe, before we get kind of into his history, I think this is another victim of Darth Maul. I think we had one last week with Savage Opress. They could have been so much more, but Darth Maul just ate up all their shine. And I think this guy also was a victim of Darth Maul. I think Darth Maul came in there like a brute in the room and destroyed some of these characters who had the opportunity to be pretty awesome. I think Gar Saxon could have been somebody who could have been pretty great. He's still a pretty interesting character, but I think that Maul shine is too much.
As we'll see, we talk about him more. He didn't get to appear in the Clone Wars at first because his arcs were part of the canceled stuff. So we got to see him first in the comics, and we get to see that comic later. But next time you see him is in Rebels, long after Maul, and a lot of that development he had. And then now we get to go back and get glimpses of that era of Maul that he doesn't really get to show too much in, because Maul shines from here. But definitely. Oh, one thing definitely I want to bring up before the voice actor for this.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we're not gonna probably see this character again in any possibility, because the voice actor is the same actor as Baylan Skoll from Ahsoka. It is.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same guy. That was introduction to Star Wars. That's how he was in Star Wars. Yep.
I didn't even know he was doing stuff like that back then.
It was him. It was him in Rebels who voiced him, and then returned to voice him in the Clone Wars.
What?
Yep. You looked into the
character. My God, he was voiced by Ray Stevenson. How did that just go right past me? I had no idea. Holy crap!
Yeah,
That's
true
kind of
fan. I
awesome.
see you are here. You didn't know.
Kind of awesome, but sad at the same time. I didn't even realize that.
Which is funny, because if you look at him again, especially the one in the Clone Wars, he's more modeled after him, like the younger version of him. But yeah, he went to voice the character there, did a great job, and yeah, we probably will not likely see him again, unless we see him as if they have a different voice actor come in to play him.
Yeah, I think we could see him again.
But that's what it is.
So I would say overall, how you could explain this guy is that he is definitely a Mandalore. Whoever is traditionally going to be the boss, whatever that means. If you're there because you're supposed to be there, or because you're holding a dark saber, he said, "Listen, that's who you follow." So I follow them. Like he didn't do that stuff. He followed the Mandalorian code all the way down to the end.
Straight up. And then he followed Maul right after. As soon as that happened, he was with Maul. He was probably the first one to get a horny helmet. He was like, "Yes, please."
I think he was. Yeah, he had to be the first one with the horny helmet.
And then obviously later on, like he still followed Maul, even though Maul got like disbarred, but he still was the rightful ruler with the Darksaber and all that stuff. So he stayed with him. But then the one thing that's really interesting that we don't know is the time in between Clone Wars and Rebels, because he was arrested by the Republic, and obviously the Republic turns into the Empire at some point, and Palpatine must have looked to him as like a puppet for to work as the Viceroy, basically Mandalore during the Imperial era, but Viceroy because they didn't want to use that title just in case.
I would say if I was looking at it from the Emperor point of view, he followed Maul because Maul he's a good soldier, right? Maul followed him all the way down all the way down to the Shadow Collective. He followed him down when it's clearly not even really Mandalorian business anymore. And I would say he would be somebody who clearly didn't like break away because he wanted to make his house famous. He was trying to grab for power. He didn't do all that. He followed the man who was in front of him. And I think, that's actually not a bad person to put as your puppet, because he's probably going to be a good soldier and do what he's told. And he absolutely did. He absolutely did what he was told.
It became the Mandalorian Super Commandos. Became the leader of them. And and the only reason he lost was because of plot armor with Clan Wren. So obviously the end of the clips you showed there, Sabine Wren has a Darksaber, so she goes back to Mandalore kind of with that claim, and Gar Saxon sees it and goes, "Oh, I remember that. I remember who had that last. So give it to me."
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the Wren showing up caused the problems. I just thought it was kind of cool. The part that I like about his character the most is the Super Commandos. I always thought that. I mean, obviously the horny Mandalores are where it's at. But I always thought that that the Super Commando was kind of a cool thing. Like, it's sad because it's the Mandalorians are being taken over by the Empire. But I always thought that was a cool part of his.
I only wish the helmets were a little better designed, because they're cool looking.
They are a little bit weird.
They're cool looking, but if the helmet looked a little better, that would be a nice addition to a collection right there.
And I do have this little quote here. It says, Gar Saxon was guilty of treason against the throne, collaboration with our enemy, and the execution of fellow protectors. But when the rest of Mandalore finds out about his death, there will be chaos. And it was Finn Rua after the Darth, the death of Gar Saxon.
Yes, with I can't remember her brother's name. Sabine's brother is the one who kills Gar, because Sabine stands down, like gives him mercy, and he tries to kill her from
of course,
out and back. And
he learned a few things from Maul. He learned a few things.
He learned a few things. Know to settle down and get the sneak attack in, But yeah, Sabine Wren's brother kills him, and then that's how that ends, basically his era. And obviously, we don't really know much else after that. Obviously, that technically his death does spur up the whole what's that word? The genocide on Mandalore, because with him dying, as the puppet that basically took care of that planet that is very pesky, as we know. That left it to be basically ruled by the other Mandalorians who rebelled.
Yeah.
And Palpatine's like, well, I have no one else I can put in control of them and hold them back. I'm gonna have to just kill them all.
Yeah, so I mean, just it's like we said, really quick. He was there whenever it was Death Watch, obviously, all the way back to there, and when the Republic took over, they made a deal with the other Mandalorians, and they fought. They won, like you said. They kind of house arrested everybody. Let's just figure this out. It was really fast after they won the war that the Clone Wars ended. And that became the Empire, like really fast.
Like not even a couple of days.
Yeah, it was like 72 hours. They're now the Empire, and they again froze everything. He was able to get himself back into charge of thing, like you were saying, where he became the Super Commandos, and he did that. And not very long, a few years, yes, but we're not talking about 3 life cycles here. We had the Wren situation that pop up. So if you're the Emperor, you're like, these damn Mandalorians, they won't stop fighting. They won't start doing anything. And so when he did, there was literally no one left stable because now you have all these different families who were making all these crazy families. Yeah. So that's when all hell breaks loose. So yes, it was his death that caused probably the expedited. Probably was going to happen anyway, honestly.
It would happen regardless, but he was the one that kind of like kicked it off.
Yes, so he was the kind of the catalyst that started the Night of Tears.
Night of 1,000, yeah. Night of 1,000 tears.
What else do we have to add as far as what goes around in the cartoon? 'Cause that's pretty much it, right?
Because again, Clone Wars, he only shows up in that last season in the Mandalorian arc because his stuff was cut out prior with Maul, which was used in the Son of Dathomir comic, which we'll talk about in a minute with the slides. But again, that comic is about when Darth Maul gets freed from jail by Gar Saxon, and her name's escaping me. It's just with an R. The second command.
Yeah, I was going to say on here, while he was the Emperor's puppet, which we'll get into, and kind of a ruler, de facto ruler of Mandalore, it says on here that he sought out to root out and punish traitors. One of the biggest ones, obviously, was Sabine, because we haven't done Sabine, but she was working for the Empire in a pretty big way, and then left and became the other side. So he basically punished the Clan Wren, imprisoned her father, like made her mom act right. So he already was pushing. He was already poking the bear. So when she shows up with that lightsaber, that was like the worst thing that could possibly happen. And hence why the chaos came. And when she refused to kill him, well, then that's even more chaos, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, right? I think that's it.
It's probably the shortest character we could ever do, given that. This is probably, I think, one of the times your quote is probably the most acceptable.
Well, I wish they could do more with that character. Is that what you're talking about?
I wish they could do more with them.
I didn't want to say it because I always say it, but like literally he was on just a few episodes. And even then, like I said at the beginning of this, I think Darth Maul steals his shine. Like he's a victim of Darth Maul. Mm-hmm. It's like I always say, it feels like all these characters they wrote during this time period were written before they decided to bring Maul back. I know that's not the case because they said they were always talking about bringing Maul back, but it just feels weird that you wrote these characters. You wrote about these characters who look like they're going to just take off with all this backstory, and then Maul shows up and just Maul, and then Maul,
Gar, and then you had
which I love Maul. He's my second favorite character, but I'm just saying, like it is kind of weird that that happens. Funny. All right, so we're just gonna jump into the comic books, which he has a little bit more.
There's a little bit more going on there, and you'll be surprised with the toys. I will say, at the very least, I was too.
No toy surprises me, sir.
Well, that's an answer in itself. So.
That right there is awesome, though. The horny helmet is top helmet.
That's awesome. Seeing that in live action was very cool. Also easy. So this is I'll bring it up later with the toys regarding how you can differentiate him from everyone else pretty easily. There's one specific thing about that you can tell. But this is episode 94. We're doing Gar
Jesus
Saxon.
Christ. I
I
don't
know.
even like you. I don't even like you guys that much if you're doing 94 episodes.
So you have Rebels. So Imperial Super Commandos is where he first shows up in the animation, season 3. And then later on, Legacy of Mandalore is the death of Gar Saxon. He literally shows up in 2 episodes. And then when they come back to Clone Wars for season 7, he shows up in 3 episodes. And they return to him with that. So 5 episodes of TV shows. And then comics, issue 1 of Son of Dathomir is his first appearance, and he shows up in issues 2 through 4. And he actually has a cover appearance, which is on both the variants of the Wizard World exclusives for Dathomir 1, the 500 copy and the 1000 copy. So truly, in the end, he has 9 appearances.
Isn't that weird when they decide to randomly give somebody a cover comic? Like, that's so random that they do this.
We'll see. It's actually a sought after cover, which is the sad thing. It's one of the more expensive ones out there.
Yeah, it's just weird to me though, because you'll find, like, we'll do some of these and there'll be a pretty famous Jedi or something, and like they don't even have, it'll be like a shoulder. They barely even have an experience.
Yeah, they don't even have one, or like have decades of stuff.
Oh, we have never talked about this comic.
You know what? The more I think about it, I could probably find that in a dollar bin. You know, it's yeah.
You find that dollar bin, give me 5.
If you find this in a dollar bin, I will suggest to you, even if it's just the cover, you buy it. It is an expensive series as time's gone on, sadly. But issue 1, the cover's on the left. On the right, we see Gar Saxon, and I'm gonna look her name up because I am stuck in my brain here. Her name starts with or R, sorry. I would have said we do one on her too, but I would say she has probably even less stuff than Gar Saxon.
If you can't even think of her name without looking it up, I would say that's probably a pass on doing that one. But Gar Saxon, I believe, is the one ripping off the head.
I was so very close. Rook Cast, that's her name.
Oh yeah, well, she kind of appears in a lot of his stuff.
Yes. So yeah, we have issue 1 there. So they're breaking Maul out of jail, sneaking into the fortress, taking down some commando droids. They get through a thing, blow a hole in the wall, and the Darth Maul's like, "Is this your plan?" He's like, "Yes." And then yeah, he gets a zip line, and yep, they jetpack out, and Maul takes off. And in a cool moment here at the end of the issue is when Gar Saxon presents Maul with the Darksaber again, and Darth Maul rallies everyone to victory or death. Issue 2. This is a fun moment where Dooku's fighting off a bunch of the Night Brothers, and in the room, just as he's able to finish a couple off, Saxon and the other members of the Shadow Collective walk in, and they take him captive for Maul, which is pretty impressive. Mind you, Dooku did let in a bit and let them take him so he gets them all closer, but still impressive nonetheless. And then this is a great... So it's such a funny shot seeing Grievous there, like handcuffed on his knees. So you have
do you handcuff all of his arms or just 2? Like,
that's what I wonder, right? Because you slip them through, right? Gar Saxon and Rakast are there standing guard on Dooku and Grievous. Later, Maul says to Gar that when you send Maul Grievous to this one room, make sure you have guards watching him the entire time. And do not let him move at all. If he moves, you kill him because he's probably gonna jump on the ceiling and start crawling around.
Okay. All right. I guess I need to read that again. I read it once, but I need to read it again because I just don't understand how you can handcuff a metal being.
As you watch the Night Sister episode, if you wanted to go back and look at that 2 months ago, it's when Gar Saxon and Rakast take Maul and they drag him back on the ship. Same with the fight again. We still have to take Mandalore and all this other stuff while Grievous goes up and kills Mother Talzin for the last time.
Ooh.
And these are the covers here. So on the left is the 1 in 1,000. It's not 1 in 1,000. It's 1,000 copies. which is just the regular, and on the right is the sketch variant, which were 500 copies. Those are pricey comics,
I would imagine.
specifically the sketch, which is fair. They look gorgeous.
Man, I mean, I like sketch comics, don't get me wrong, but I'd almost always like the colors because I think the colors look cool. But that sketch is pretty ridiculous.
If you got that as a commission and it was done on a thing, you'd be framing that above the mantle for everyone to see when you walk in the house.
Whoa. That's all you got?
That's all there is for him. But we have his figures though in toys.
All right.
And you're gonna be surprised by the first one because it's not Gar Saxon. There is no figure. There is no Black Series. There's no figure any kind from the Clone Wars, from Rebel.
That's Gar Saxon.
Nothing of him. And you want to know why? I'll tell you right now. This is a regular Mandalorian Super Commando captain.
Okay.
Way you tell them different.
There's no yellow in his mask?
Gar Saxon's visor and all the emitters and everything are yellow and gold. Everyone else is black.
Are you serious? They don't have anything?
I'm not kidding you. They never did a single. I thought I had some crazy memory where I'm like, I swear I've seen the Imperial Super Commando one, which they never even did either. So this is the closest thing you'll get. You can pretend it's him. You can put some yellow paint in the middle. And
oh, that's definitely for a customization person who does that. You can definitely.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm sure these aren't cheap, probably, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But he does have a Lego figure. Go figure. So there you go. You look at the image there, the yellow and the thing. This is the Mandalorian Starfighter. Came with Bo-Katan, Mandalorian Uniter, and then Gar Saxon. One of the cooler sets as well with the ship that moves around. And then I had to
pop. Are you serious?
Stretch. I wanted to point the fact that how crazy was he has no figures. He has a pop vinyl and actually a 2-pack. There's one with Darth Maul as well. Yep. And
sniper rifle. Okay.
I thought he had. If you go to the next one, I don't think there's gonna be anything else. Yeah. I thought he had I had some crazy memory too, where he had one of those 3/4 busts. Or a statue or some kind. Nothing.
Are you sure he doesn't have a statue?
He has no hot toy. He has no statue.
Hot toy I get, but
he has no bust. He has nothing. But we got out here a whole sideshow giant statue of Savage.
I could have sworn I remember him like shooting down or something.
Nope. I looked at everything. The only other thing I could find of Gar Saxon was a small minifigure from the Star Wars Shatterpoint tabletop game. Not the Star Wars Legion, the other one, which is even crazier.
All right. Somebody help me. If you're watching this, go down to the comment section and tell us why there is some kind of statue. I know there is. How can I not know that? There's got to be something more.
Nope, nothing of Gar Saxon. That's him.
Okay, well, there you go. There is the history of Gar Saxon. One of those characters I wish they did more with. But honestly, he is a pretty cool character that I do think it should have been more done. You can always go back and there's a big space that we don't know a lot about that they can make more cartoons about him, which would be pretty cool.
Even comics, really.
The other thing I would say about him before we wrap this up is Darth Maul, like, trusted him to a point where, like, giving him missions to do kind of thing. And Darth Maul wasn't exactly the trusting kind. So I would like to see how that happened, in cartoon. How did he say, I trust you to go down there and at least defend that spot without me holding your hand. So I would like to see some shenanigans like that.
Oh, hello, Voodoo.
Wow. That's fine. That's fine. And there's that. All right. Well, thank you for watching the video. Like I said, you can always come Thursday, Twitch, MrGarrell on Twitch, and you could watch that. Join in on the live. Hopefully be better than Hoosier and the other guy. That would be fantastic. Or just wait for me to upload it on Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you later.